Hey guys, and welcome back to Intuitive Flow with Mikaela Wallet. In today's episode, I have something really special for you because I was diving through the archives and I realized that I still have the devotion code, the masterclass, the free masterclass that I held last year when it was the devotion code, and it's 5 shifts to manifest and keep your dream relationship. So I decided that I wanted to take this and turn it into a podcast episode for you guys so that you can just go through it and get all of the juicy details that it took for me to manifest and keep my dream relationship. And I can share that with you guys in this podcast episode. And this is also something that I turned into the immersive Telegram experience, where I basically broke this up into 7 full days, 7 different trainings. So this is a little bit longer for the podcast, but it is jam packed with so much incredible information that will guide you towards your dream romantic partner. So if that sounds like something that you're into and what you are looking to do, and maybe you already are in a relationship and you are wanting to make that relationship even better than it already is, then this class is definitely going to help you do that. So this is a free masterclass that I held last year. I've already turned it into the devotion coach, which is the 7-day immersion that I just held. But basically, you are just going to get it in 2 different forms this time. So, same information, just different format. So, if you maybe signed up for the devotion code and haven't gone all the way through it, haven't done the homework, so on and so forth, then this is going to be a good opportunity for you to listen to the podcast episode and still soak in that information in a different way and be able to maybe pause and just do everything at once. I don't know. Whatever works best for you. I know that certain people learn differently, and maybe this just being able to, go on your hot girl walk and listen to it will be easier for you than a Telegram experience. So no matter what, I wanted you to get this information. And of course, at the end, we go into Devoted. I share some details about Devoted. And so I just think this is an awesome opportunity for you as my listener to be able to really get all of the juicy details that you are maybe needing for the devotion code and for Devoted. So with that being said, let's get into today's episode. Welcome to Intuitive Flow, hosted by me, Mikaela Wallet, an intuitive who uses neuroscience to reprogram your subconscious and trained intuition to get to the root cause of your problems to help you create a life that you don't need a vacation from. You've landed in the place you need to be to hear the no bullshit truth about why you keep repeating the same love and money patterns and how to finally break them. This podcast is here to wake you up. It's time to stop living as the watered down version of yourself and step unapologetically into the woman you came here to be. The woman who trusts herself deeply, holds powerful standards, and naturally attracts the love, money, and life she desires. Let's flow. Welcome to the Devotion Code, the 5 shifts to manifest and keep, emphasis on the and keep your dream man. So, quick little reminders for you guys. Please devote this time to yourself, be in a quiet space, grab a notebook, grab a pen if you can. You're going to want to take a lot of notes. If you feel called at any time to just like screenshot, the last thing that I want to do when you guys are seeing these slides is for you to be so distracted by the slides that you're not listening to also what I am saying, or you're like trying to write everything down. Just know that you can either screenshot the slide or you can. Um, everything is being recorded, so you're going to be able to come back and take notes afterwards if you just want to like soak this up this round, and then you want to watch it a second time so that you can go back and take whatever notes that you are wanting to take. But grab a snack because we're going to be here for 2 hours, water or your favorite mocktail, And don't forget your headphones or an eye mask if you have an eye mask, 'cause we are doing a little embodiment, like higher self embodiment meditation that I'm excited about, and I want you guys to be able to take full advantage of that. And I feel like when I have headphones and an eye mask, I'm just like in the meditation and I'm able to like drop in a lot quicker and be like present for the meditation and be able to be like walked through and guided through that meditation a lot easier when I am like no distraction. So headphones and eye mask, that's why you're going to see that there. Okay. So today's flow that we're going to get into, everything we're going to cover. So, we're going to go over, of course, why you keep attracting emotionally unavailable men and how to stop for good, the 5 shifts that turn you from almost chosen to fully devoted to herself, the energetics of being pursued, adored, chosen without doing more. The higher self activation, like I was just chatting with you, that's going to be the meditation that I walk you guys through, the integration. So there is going to be journal prompts and time for you guys to really dive in and integrate what you are learning in real time with these journal prompts. If you don't have time to finish your journal prompts during the call, that's totally okay. Like I said, this is recorded and you guys can come back and finish the journal prompts or write them down and then like do them after the class. That's totally okay too. And then we're going to finish off with an exciting announcement and a Q&A. This class is for the woman who is tired of men who won't commit or keep her guessing, knows she is meant to be pursued, adored, and fully chosen, wants love that lasts, not just butterflies for a season. It wouldn't be a me thing if I didn't mess up one word at least. Okay, with that being said, you guys, if you have not listened to my 2 latest podcast episodes, I 10 out of 10 recommend you going and doing that. That's going to help you kind of, like, get ready and get prepared for what's coming and, like, in this next era that we're stepping into, and also really soak up everything that's inside of this masterclass because if you have listened to the podcast episode that I recently released, I chat all about butterflies and how they're not actually a green flag. They're actually your nervous system being like, you need to calm the fuck down and stop putting X, Y, and Z up on a pedestal and making it mean something about you because it doesn't. You are enough just on your own. Craves confidence, magnetism, and the security of being the one and is ready to finally stop settling and step into her devoted woman energy. A little bit about me, because if you are new here, if you haven't worked with me in the past, I just want to kind of give you a little overview of like my journey and how I got here. So it all started back in 2018, 2021, where I was in network marketing. I was bartending. I was super into fitness and health. So I have a background. I was in fitness and health for like 10 years. And that's really where I learned how to hustle very hard. I learned people skills and I got my first taste of entrepreneurship with training wheels. I feel like network marketing is entrepreneurship with training wheels. In 2022, breakdowns became breakthroughs. A toxic relationship unraveled, gaslighting cracked my identity, and rock bottom left me without a home or a plan. Instead of crumbling, I rebuilt from the inside out. And if you are an avid listener of the podcast, you know all about that journey and that story. In 2023, hermit healing and finding my voice, I decided to move to Costa Mesa. I had a 250 square foot apartment, studio apartment. Yep, it was only 250 square feet. It was so small, but we made it work, me and Zeus. And it was such a sacred and special place in my heart now. I went all in on boundaries, daily practices, my inner work. It's funny because I was just hanging out with with the girl who I used to like be neighbors with in that space in Costa Mesa. And she was like, it's so crazy, like, to see your life and how you're living now and, like, how much has changed for you, and all you did was sit in the backyard and, like, meditate for hours on end. I was like I was like, "You're not wrong," and there was a lot more that goes into it other than those meditations and those energy recoveries, and I'll get into all of that, obviously, in pretty soon here in this class, but I just thought that was funny. I wanted to share. But during that time, I started sharing my messy, very messy journey online, launched one on one intuitive energetic healing sessions, master classes, and clarity on my purpose, what I'm actually here for, what my soul pull in career vocation is and what it's meant to be. And that knowing deepened with every client that I made a connection with and helped. In 2023 and 2024, love and coming home, I met Bryson. 6 months, we did long distance where we were going back and forth from Ventura, Costa Mesa. I would go a weekend there. He would come a weekend there, here. Yeah, back and forth. And then after that 6 months, I was like, okay, like, no, things are really serious with this guy. And 3 months into it, I was like, this is my person. He's the one. And that's when I decided that I was going to move back to Ventura, not just for him, also for myself. I really miss my family, my friends. There's just something about Ventura that I just love it. I'm like, I belong here. And you really learn that when you move away and then you come back. But I briefly tried when I did come home to get back into personal training, but I quickly realized about 3 months into it that my calling needed my full focus. So in 2024, 25, the leap and the lull. So I quit my job, my gym job. I went all in on my business. And then after that, I faced a 6 month lull that really did test absolutely everything. There was no overnight success here, just grit, pure devotion to myself, to my mission, and getting louder with my message. In 2025, which is this year, so it hasn't been long, you guys, momentum began to hit. Everything just clicked. Revenue grew. My team expanded. I have a VA, which she's here on the call right now. I'm sorry, Anya. Thank you so much for being here. And I have a podcast crew. I just redid my website, which you guys will be able to see after this call. And my external reality finally matched the frequency that I had been holding for so long. And I feel like in that lull or in that like unknown part, you're kind of like, when is it going to happen? In the moment that you stop gripping the hose, it's like when you're always say the analogy of like when you're holding a hose and you're trying to water a garden and you're gripping on the hose so hard that the water isn't flowing out, and because the water isn't flowing out, you're not going to be able to water it. The manifestation isn't going to happen. The flowers aren't going to grow. The cucumber isn't going to grow out of the ground, right? So it's in that moment that I stopped. Oh, my bad. That I stopped, being like how and when, and just trusted the knowing that this is going to be my reality, that things started to shift and change, and it was a really exciting time. Still is a very exciting time. I know what it's like to be the almost girl, almost chosen, almost enough, almost happy. For years, I repeated cycles of love and relationships that left me questioning my worth, and money that slipped right through my fingers. The turning point came when I realized that no one was going to choose me until I chose myself. I devoted myself to my healing, raising my standards, and building unshakable trust. Today, I am engaged to the love of my life, running a thriving business, and guiding women to into the kind of devotion that changes everything. A little bit about me and who I am beyond the work. I am a beach girl at heart, born and raised in Ventura, California. I've walked through the seasons of hustling multiple jobs, picking myself up after heartbreaks, and questioning who I was meant to be. Every challenge became a tool that I now pass on to my clients, from devotion practices that kept me grounded to mindset shifts that helped me rise again and again. When I'm not coaching or recording Intuitive Flow, the podcast, I'm probably barefoot in the sand, laughing with my fiance, cuddling my pup Zeus, or dreaming about future retreats that I can't wait to bring to life. Why you are here. Maybe you've read the books Love by Jay Shetty or Why Men Love Bitches. Has anybody read that book? That's a good one. It's funny. But you still ended up decoding mixed signals from emotionally unavailable men. Maybe you've tried healing, journaling, celibacy, and cutting him off for good. Like I promised the last time, until he texts you and you spiral all over again. Maybe you've even mastered the soft girl aesthetic, but your nervous system is still in survival mode. You're still in that fight or flight. It's not that you're not worthy of real love. It's that your energy still feels safer in the chase than in the choice. You're not broken. You're just running on outdated programming. And today we are rewriting that code for good. All right. So there is a more effective way to get what you are desiring in this life. The old programming that probably been running on is feeling like you have to prove you are worthy. You manifest from lack or from scarcity. You chase alignment. You're asking for the signs. You crave certainty. And the devoted programming, which we're getting into, is you already know you are worthy. You manifest from embodiment and peace. You live aligned and know and trust that each day you are making aligned decisions because you trust yourself fully. You are the sign. You know that God, source, universe has their hands tied out of your life, and it is truly up to you to make the changes. And you know that any sign that you do get, you manifested that sign, you created that sign, you are the sign. You create the certainty. You hold the core belief that your success is inevitable. You hold the core belief that you are going to find your person, that your person is out there, that he is waiting for you, that you are available, you are open to inviting him into your life. DM me the word devoted on Instagram in my DMs. It's at Mikaela Wallet underscore. Change the last name. Yay. If you are ready to step into your devoted woman era and let go of the old programming, go ahead and take your phones out and just take a minute to text me the word devoted. So, here are what my clients are saying. I've got a beautiful testimonial here by Bree that says, I finally reached a point in my life where I no longer dream about reconciling with my ex anymore. What he has put me through for the last few months was a big eye opener and healing process for me. Doing the work with you and putting him on a T chart has made me feel like I don't even want that relationship anymore for myself. And it is so crazy to think that I would be in this mindset. LOL. Thank you. Glowed up alumni, you guys, what's coming, this offer that is coming is basically Glowed Up's big sister. And it is chef's kiss. Okay. Anyways, I digress. Brittany she was a one-on-one mentorship student. It says for what feels like the first time in my whole life, I am consistently loving my body and what I see in the mirror and feeling the most confident I have ever in my life, which feels so freeing. My husband is helping so much more around the house without nagging and giving me extra attention and love. My mom was house sitting last week and we came back to a surprise. She had finished a project that I've been working on without me even mentioning it to her, painting the bathroom. Plus, I got a random compliment a couple of days ago when I was out with my daughter that I'm snatched and rocking mama life. Love that for her. This is the kind of stuff that happens when you skyrocket your self image and you know your worth. We've got Bree from Glowed Up that manifested a $2 raise. We've got Melissa, who is also here. Hi, Missy. And she not only got the pay raise that she asked for, but got extra paid time off. And over the 12-month, this is also from her later on, over the 12-month span of working with me in one-on-one sessions, I was able to manifest a 15K a year raise after 10 months of working at that job, not even a year, which is wild. And the perfect home for my family, a totally new job with an even bigger salary. So even after she got the promotion, she manifested a whole other up level of salary and a whole different job with like better benefits and bigger salary. And she also started her own business as a money mindset coach, which I'm so excited for her. She's killing it. All right. So, the framework to becoming the devoted woman. Today, we are going into step one, which is the devotion code. You being here in this class, this is step one, 5 shifts to manifest and keep your dream man. Step two is going to be locked and in the offer that we chat about at the end. Stay tuned for a very exclusive offer. Phase one is going to be devotion to self. Phase two is devotion to desire. Phase three is devotion to love. And I will get into what that means later on in the class. You are not just manifesting any man, okay? We are not just manifesting any man. You guys could pick up a man off the side of the street right now if you wanted to and be like, "Hey, do you want to be my boyfriend?" And he would probably be like, "Yes, absolutely." Okay, that's a possibility. That could happen. Anything is possible. However, we don't want just any man. We want a 4 out of 4 soul complement. And what that means is that you are all for mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically compatible. Mentally compatible means that you and him are into the same thing. So even if you're not taking it up as a hobby, you are still interested in what they're saying when they talk about it. Can you stay up all hours of the night just chatting about anything? This is you being mentally compatible. And I can give an example of this with Bryson and I. Baseball. Bryson is obsessed with baseball. He's obsessed with sports and loves baseball. I was never super into baseball. I used to go to games here and there just for fun. Didn't know a whole lot about the sport. I know a whole lot about the sport now. And I actually love learning about it. And I love, like, we were just watching the Dodger game last night. Like, it was such a great game and we won. Yeah. And I think just those little moments, that's you being mentally compatible. Like you're able to be into the same things, even if it's like, I'm not going to take up baseball as a hobby, but I am interested in it. I am interested in learning more. And I am open and willing to like, like that because he likes that. Spiritually compatible. When you both have the soul potential to get to the same place spiritually. You have a spiritual belief system and you both find it fascinating, even if it isn't the exact same. So, like, I feel like so many clients, so many people are like, oh my gosh, like, I must not be with my 4 out of 4 soul complement if they are in a relationship because they're learning this work, they're learning about intuition, they're talking about dark forces, they're talking about energy clearings and how if you're not clearing your energy on the daily, then 97% of your thoughts are not even your own and you're going down the rabbit hole on your reflections and what this actually means and right? You're just talking all about this and maybe your partner is looking at you like sideways like, "What in the fuck is she talking about?" But there's a part of them that is totally open and interested and like fascinated with what you are saying and like wanting to learn more. So, for instance, like I even when meeting Bryson, I kind of had to like intuitively look in on this because we are just he didn't know any of this, any of what I do when we first met. Obviously, it's not something that a whole lot of people know about. And so when like as time went on, I was learning that he was actually very fascinated and very interested in like taking what I was teaching him and implementing it into his own life, which was so incredible. And like he, if you don't know this, coaches baseball, high school baseball. And so he would come home and he would be like telling me about how he gave like a motivational speech and it had something to do with like manifestation and like just holding on to like the vision and creating the vision of like the win in your head. And I was just like, this is awesome. It was the cutest thing. Another example of this is like when I first met Bryson, he was in a job that he absolutely hated. Like he dreaded going to work every day. It was a 9 to 5. He absolutely hated it. And we were at dinner and I think we were like celebrating a milestone that I had hit in my business. And he took me out to dinner to like celebrate me. And he, during that time, was like kind of getting down on himself because he saw me, chasing after my dream and doing all of these things that I loved and doing work that lit me the fuck up. And he was like, I hate my job. And so I intuitively looked in and was able to be like, okay, it's like it's not in your best interest to leave right now. However, like, let's start thinking about what you do want to do, what you would love to do, and what that could look like for you. And so that's when we started at that dinner talking about, what he needed to do, what ingredients he needed to start to get rooted to in order to be an energetic match for his dream, like job vocation situation. And he did the work. And 2 weeks later, it happened so fast. And sometimes this happens, but 2 weeks later, he sees a like job listing, I guess. Yeah, job listing for the our local high school baseball team needing a head coach. And he was like, "Should I apply?" I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Yes, you should apply." He applies. There was a ton of other people that also applied. He got the job. He was all worried about not having coaching experience, but like he has been in baseball his entire life and knows the game very well. And I know that he's like such a good coach and has that those attributes that a coach needs. And so as soon as he got connected to that, then he became an energetic match for like his soul pool and career, which is like coaching baseball. And I think that's such an amazing story, and I love sharing that. So there's that. But yeah, so they just know that they have the soul potential to get this to the same place as you spiritually. They believe in a higher power. If you believe in a higher power, you guys are in the same um, level when it comes to that. Emotionally compatible is you understand each other and you both have a similar amount of depth. So you guys could stay up talking for hours. Like you can really get deep into topics and subjects. You have no problem having like the hard conversations when things need to be talked about. You both have the communication skills to work through whatever needs to be worked through and talk about and communicate how you guys are feeling. And that is emotional compatibility. You got emotionally compatible. So, physically compatible is you enjoy doing the similar physical activities and or you are willing to try out and do what they love to do. So an example of this is like for Bryson and I just give personal examples, is we both love to go to the gym and lift weights. So we're both very compatible in the physical area. Well, we're compatible in all four because we're 4 out of 4 soul complements. But when you enjoy doing similar things, you catch yourself doing similar things, or even if you don't do similar things, but like you're open to trying the things that your partner is into, that means that you are physically compatible. Okay, let's get into why you guys are here. So, 5 shifts to manifest and keep your dream man. This is just a little diagram I'm going to be sprinkling in throughout this slideshow to let you guys know where we're at in the slides. So, these are the 5 shifts that changed everything for me and my clients. And when you master these, you stop attracting from wounds and start magnetizing from wholeness. Each of these shifts is a frequency upgrade. And today we'll touch on all five, but the deeper embodiment happens inside of devoted. Shift number one, raise it your self image and self love. Okay. And I'm going to get into exactly how, but just for the people who don't know, maybe are new here, maybe you've never came into a masterclass with me before. Self love, the source definition of self love is the ability to prioritize yourself and always put yourself first no matter what. And the source definition of self image is the way you perceive yourself and the way you perceive others perceive you. And so you're probably thinking, Mikaela, cool, but how do I raise my self love and self image? How to pull your self love, we'll start with self love, out of the fucking trash can. Step one is to, and we've got some really fun examples of this. Stop putting yourself last on your list of priorities. Step two, commit to yourself and the things that you say that you are going to do. Step three, let go of people pleasing. If it isn't a fuck yes, it's a fuck no. And step four, forgive yourself. You have been doing this to play it safe and make sure you are loved by everyone around you. This is something that we are just, it's programmed into the majority of us as a society. And it's time to flip the script that putting yourself last is self, or putting yourself first is selfish. That is not the ultimate truth. And that is not the ultimate truth. That is not how you want to live if you want to change the reality that you are living. So, some examples here. Stop putting yourself last on your list of priorities. So, we've got this little stick figure man, and he's like, come over. I need help with something with a winky face. And you had plans with your girlfriend, Susie. And Susie and you were gonna go and have like a girls' dinner and, chat and catch up. But this guy, he just texts you and then you drop everything and you just do cartwheels all the way to his house. This is you putting yourself last on your list of priorities. This is just an example when it comes to dating. How many of us are guilty as fuck for dropping whatever plans you either had with a friend or I don't want that. How do I get it down? I think it'll go down. But dropping who you like had plans with, or like whether it's yourself or with a friend or with a group of friends for a man. I am very guilty of this. I cannot be the only one. So that is when Sam's like, nope, not me. Love that. Love that for you, girlfriend. All right. Next example, commit to yourself and the things that you say you are going to do. If you do not commit to yourself, how do you expect others to commit to you? Your reality is a mirror of your internal world, and how you treat yourself is how others will treat you. So, this is, like I said, we're talking about self love and the ability to put yourself first, prioritize yourself. And the world is a giant mirror, and if you are not treating yourself the way that you desire to be treated by other people, then you're not going to get treated the way you desire to get treated by other people. It's truly that simple. So if you say you're going to do things like work out, take a walk, do your ingredients, and I'll kind of get into what ingredients are, but do your energy work, eat healthy, get 8 hours of sleep. Like if that is on your list of to dos, then commit and do what you say that you are going to do. Stop snoozing your alarm clock 75 million times. And you guys, I am not coming at this from a place of ignorance. Like I'm guilty of every single one of these things. Okay. Let go of people pleasing. If it isn't a fuck yes, it's a no. So gone are the days where you do things for someone because you are seeking their approval or you want them to like you. We've got a little example here. So we've got Susie over here and she's like, "Hey, do you want to go to Steve's party with me tomorrow night?" And you're like, "No, thanks. I'm not feeling it." That is the perfect example. You do not need to over explain yourself. And how many of us here are guilty of over explaining when you decide that you cannot go to something or you don't want to go to something, right? Like all of us should be shaking our heads, like, same, sis, me too. Don't worry. But there's just this whole new situation that needs to happen, okay, where you stop over explaining yourself. And it's, what's funny is I actually just had a conversation with B about this, and he's like, "You're so like blunt in your texts." And I'm like, I mean, like, yeah, I don't need to over explain myself to anybody. I don't feel that need. And my people who are closest to me, who I am texting, they know that about me, so they're not going to feel any type of way. And if they do feel any type of way, and this is another important thing to know, is let's say somebody does get triggered by the fact that you are saying that you don't want to go hang out with them because you've got plans with your dog or with yourself, then that's their own reflection. And I'm going to get into reflections in a minute, but that's their own reflection, and you are just being such a beautiful mirror for them on what they need to heal within themselves, and that helps them grow in soul points. So I know that if I do trigger somebody because I was very blunt in a text message and just said literally no, that's not on me. How they take that is not on me. It's on them. So hopefully they don't take personally, and we can all just be grown adults here. All right. So we've got some journal prompts here. I kind of warned you guys about these. So you can either screenshot this or um, you can just type these out really quick. I'm going to give you guys about 5 minutes to just start the first one, just so that you can get your creative juices flowing. Um, give your Forgive yourself. This is the forgive yourself part. So forgive yourself. You've been doing these types of things, or you have done them in your past to play it safe and to make sure you are loved by everybody around you. This is something that we pick up from childhood. We want to be the good girl. We want to be told that we are good girls. So what do? We people please. We do things that we don't necessarily want to do because we feel like we have to in order to make the other person happy. No longer do we do that. We are unsubscribing. It literally could not be me. All right. So journal prompt number 1 is, when did I first learn that putting others before myself was the way to feel safe, loved, or accepted? This helps you uncover the root. The moment your nervous system decided self abandonment equals love, once you see where it started, you can finally begin to release it. Okay, this helps you kind of like reflect on, where did I pick this up from? Like I said, it's most likely from childhood. So, like, where did you learn that putting other people before yourself was like the vibe? And you got used to it. Your nervous system got used to it, and your nervous system started to adapt the idea that in order for you to be safe, to be loved, to be accepted, you had to drop everything that you're doing to please the other. How can we begin to release that? Prompt number 2 is, what would I tell the version of myself who kept giving, helping, or overextending just to feel worthy? Write to her directly as if she's sitting across from you. Let her know she did the best she could with what she knew. Forgiveness lands deeper when it's spoken to the version of you who needed it the most. So I can think of like a time in my past when it comes, I mean, so many times in my past when I've done this in dating specifically, where I was just like, oh, I got this, or oh, I can watch your dog, or oh man, or I can, there was no commitment. He wasn't doing anything for me, but I was overextending. I was doing. I was so much in my masculine that I was taking all the masculine marbles. And I'll get into marbles in a sec, but I was taking all the masculine marbles. And when you take all the masculine marbles, and they're just getting everything that they want without any type of commitment, they're like, this is the shit. Like, I'm going to keep doing this. Right. And that's the last thing that we want. So, how can you forgive yourself, though, for the time where you allowed yourself to do that? Prompt number 3. What does it look like to feel? What does it look and feel like to choose myself with love now? not out of guilt, but out of devotion. Visualize and describe the new frequency of your self love. How does she move? How does she speak? How does she set boundaries? How does she honor her energy? This is how you energetically script your next chapter, this next era that you're stepping into. And I'm going to get into creating the character as well in this. So um, that's kind of a part of prompt 3 as well. How to pull your self image out of the trash can. Step 1 is see the distortion and stop identifying with it. So, all of the times where you've been nitpicking at yourself and not seeing the perfection in your perceived flaws, we got to knock that shit the fuck off. Okay. Number 2, rebuild your self trust, trusting in yourself, in your intuition. Step 3, see the perfection in yourself. Step 4, create and embody the character. Gonna get into each one of these. So, number one, step one, oh my gosh, see the distortion and stop identifying with it. So, your self image got bruised when you believed thoughts like, I'm not enough. I'll be loved when I'm better, prettier, more successful. Or if I fail, I lose my worth, or I'm not good enough, or I suck. Who's guilty of saying any of these things? Me. Yes. Pause and ask. I want you to reflect. There's a lot of reflecting here today. Whose voice is that? Is it yours? Is it your mom's? Is it society's? Is it a teacher's? Awareness starts to break down that identification. And once you can see that these thoughts aren't the ultimate truth, you stop treating them as a reality. I'm gonna give you a example of this for me. I used to always say, like, "I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm an" I don't know where I picked it up, but I would always say that, and I remember I went to breakfast with a girlfriend, and she was like, "Why do you always say that to yourself?" And I think it was because I, like, parked my car, and I couldn't remember where it was. Something so silly, and I was like, "Ah, I'm such an idiot." And she was like, "Why do you always say that? Like, that's not good." And I was like, "Oh, you're right. I do always say that." So, like, what are you telling yourself that isn't helping your self-image? Like those small things that we sometimes don't realize that we're saying that are or the that we're thinking that are slowly but surely poking holes in our creator field when it comes to self-image. Like that is what we've got to start to reframe and stop doing. Stop identifying with and stop saying. Fun fact, if you are not clearing and protecting your energy on the daily, 97% of your thoughts are not your own. And I intuitively channel this is source truth. So I use my intuition to intuitively channel on a scale of 0 to 100, w- getting the exact precise number or percentage. So anytime you see percentages here, it's just know it's from source and it's source channeled. It's not just me coming up with a number, it's source channeled information using my intuition. And I am a highly trained intuitive, and I've been doing this work for 3 years. And so this isn't something that just anybody could do or any intuitive can do. You have to know how to do it. How to do it and how to do it the correct way. All right. Number 2, rebuild your self trust. So, learning to trust yourself again is the key to having a high self image. At this point in your life, you might have lost that trust due to past experiences. And inside of Devoted, you gain access to an energy recovery that recovers the missing part of your light body that are connected to trusting yourself. And I will also be teaching you how to get reconnected with your highest self so you are always confident in the answer and never second guess yourself again. And what I mean by that, to kind of like go into what I just said, because if you're not in this world, you might not understand completely. So, what happens is when we have like traumatic experiences in our life, we create. Has anybody seen that movie? Oh my gosh, what's the one with, like, all of the little characters that are different emotions, like happy, sad, angry? Inside Out. Yes, thank you, Sam, so much. Inside Out. So watch that movie because whoever made that movie is really good and understands neuroscience. But what happens is like you've got a trauma or experience. It doesn't have to be traumatic, but it could just be like something that maybe you got like really excited. It's like a core memory, right? So you've got this core memory and it creates all of these things. It creates these emotions, and then these emotions create your thoughts, and your thoughts create your beliefs, right? So sorry, I'm gonna get rid of the chat again or I'm gonna get distracted. So when you have these experiences, if let's say it is a traumatic experience, you a part of your light body that is connected to that emotion that you are feeling. So, like, for example, lungs is like if you're having like asthma or breathing, anything with breathing, like that's energetic root cause of that is the feeling like it's not safe to take up space. So inside of Devoted, which is I'm going to chat about at the end, is we are going to be doing an energy recovery. Well, you're going to have it recorded and in your portal so that you can come back to it and do energy recoveries whenever you need to, because you will be wanting to do energy recoveries on multiple experiences and things that have happened as we work through the trauma portion, and the things come up, the beliefs come up. We want to take back all of the missing light bodies from any experience, person, situation that ever made you feel insert feeling. That way, you are not operating from a lower frequency and you don't manifest physical body ailments and illnesses, because what happens is when too much of our light body gets broken off and left in that timeline, then you're like whatever it is. So, like, we're on the lungs. If it's lungs, then your light body becomes less and less and less. And so you're more of an energetic match for things like asthma or breathing problems or bronchitis or anything that has to do with like breathing and lungs and the way that you, anything that has to do with your, any illness that or sickness that has to do with your lungs. So that's why this part is so, so, so important. But, anyways, back to it. So, how can you begin building that trust in yourself today? I want you guys to start a note in your phone, the queen of notes, and title it Times I Have Found It Easy to Trust Others and Myself. Each day, you're going to clock micro moments and you're going to prove this statement to be true. Example: a man opens the door for you. Your barista doesn't mess up your coffee order. You trusted your intuition and you were spot on. When you went to Starbucks, the Starbucks building was there. Right? These are all times that you trust yourself or you trust others. And you can either take this from your past and or like the day of. Anything that you can think of that has to do with trust. This is going to help you rebuild the neural pathway, what this is doing, the ingredients. So anytime we're like clocking micro moments or proving an ingredient to be true, which this ingredient here is like that it's easy to trust others and it's easy to trust myself. Because what happens a lot of times is like, we get let down or we believe in that somebody is going to show up for us a certain way and then they don't, or we get cheated on, or we get dumped unexpectedly over Facebook Messenger. It's happened to me. Um, right? These things happen and it's like it slowly chips away at your ability to trust others. And it creates this neural pathway and this belief that it's not safe to trust others. So today, what we're doing with this ingredient and this clocking and this note in your phone, we are beginning to rebuild that neural pathway so that we can create a new one and suffocate the old one. And this new one is going to begin to build that belief that it is easy and safe to trust others. And when you are plugging that hole in your creator field, that's a self-image hole in your creator field. So when you're plugging that up and it's in your creator field, and what your creator field is the energy that's radiating off of your body 24/7, whether you realize it or not, you are always manifesting. And I don't want that to freak you out. Like, you're allowed to have a bad thought here and there, but what's important is we reframe this. So, like, let's say somebody did somebody does let you down, then you're going to not identify or like take it personally. First of all, you're going to look at the reflection in it, because that's a reflection. If you're triggered by something, it's a reflection. And I'll get into reflections soon, I promise. But you're going to want to see the reflection for what it is, but also like not identify it, and then reconnect to your note, to your new ingredient, to your new belief, and prove it to be true, so that we are not allowing those experiences that do happen to pop up and affect us and ruin our progress in the fact that we are now rewiring the neural pathway to believe that it is safe and easy to trust. Number 3, see the perfection in yourself. Your flaws are nothing but your flawed perception of self. They are not the ultimate truth. In Source's eyes, you are perfect. Everything is abso-fucking-lutely perfect. And you've got to fully get behind and get rooted to that knowing. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself, what are my perceived flaws? What the fuck are you picking at yourself in the mirror right now, or this morning, or today, or last week? What are some things that you're looking at yourself and you're thinking that they're not absolutely perfect? I remember I used to like hate my beauty mark, the mole on the side of my cheek. I used to hate it. I used to get bullied in high school and all throughout my life. I used to get bullied so much. Now, because I've healed that part of myself and I healed the self-image wound there, and I got connected to how it's actually fucking perfect, I never hear about it. All I hear about it is how beautiful it is and how cool and how unique and how special it is. And fun fact, if you do have big freckles or moles or whatever, that is little angel kisses. And it's also a big sign that you are very special and very unique. And we're all very special and very unique, but that's just like extra confirmation that you are extremely special and unique. And you're here to do incredible things for the collective. So, with each flaw, you're going to write 3 things that counter that perception. Okay. So, for example, if I think that, and this doesn't have to just be physical appearance either, it could be something like, I mean, personally, I was just experiencing the fact that I procrastinate. Like, I just got done with this slideshow because it wasn't good enough. I had to perfect it. Right. And so that's just my Virgo coming out. But when a lot of people, and growing up, people would always be like, you really need to do things a lot faster, like, or not faster, but like, you need to take more time and not do things so last minute. And, don't you have it? Like, if I had a paper that was due the next day, then, and I wouldn't start it until like 2 days before, and it was like a 30-page paper or something, actually, like absolutely ridiculous. I People would like think that that was bad, but the reality of the situation is that I'm a projector. And if you know anything about human design, projectors are able to get an 3 hours worth of work done in 1 hour. So that's just how I literally am designed and am built. And that's just a part of me, but, like, according to society, that's not a good thing. Like, it's perceived as a bad thing to be a procrastinator, when that's not always the case. That's just how I just work better with that. So, whatever it is that you see or have been told about yourself that isn't great, or that maybe is bad, or maybe is deemed as bad by society, what are 3 good things from that, for that, perceived flaw? And that is some homework that you guys can do, take home from this class, after class. So it is time that you embody the truth. Everything about you is perfect and it is all made on purpose for a purpose. Next, we are going to be creating the character of our higher self. This is the 2.0 version of you, okay? This version of you exists right fucking now. The only thing in the way is the limiting self beliefs and the actions that are sabotaging you reaching this potential that you know and believe that you are 1000% capable of. So go ahead and screenshot this or like take a picture with it on your phone or with your phone so that you can come back to these prompts later and answer them and create your 2.0 version of yourself. Now, it doesn't just end here at finishing and creating this character, okay? You don't just create the character and then like step away and forget about her and like don't do anything with it, okay? We want to begin embodying this new version of ourselves. So, that 2.0, who is the 2.0 version of you? What are their goals, their motives? What is their identity when it comes to confidence and how they carry themselves? What is their overall personality? How do they look physically? How do they respond in conflict? What do they say yes and no to? How do they feel about themselves? How do others see them? How do they treat themselves? How do they speak to themselves? Where do they shop? How do they dress? Who do they hang out with? Who are they dating or marrying? And if you are married or dating, what does that relationship look like at its highest potential? What kind of energetic boundaries do you have? What is the typical story of my life? Add anything else and be as specific as possible with this. All right, on to shift number two. And I feel like that was like a lot of shifts in one shift, but I told you guys we're going over a lot today. So buckle up. Shift number two is be whole. Mikaela, what the heck do you mean by being whole? I am whole. This is why I like have a pet peeve of like people being like, oh my God, my other half. Like, no, bitch, like you are a whole person on your own, okay? Get rooted to it. Becoming whole, being whole. And this is again, I know we talked about this when it comes to like a 4 out of 4 soul complement um being in that's like this is different, so these have different descriptions, okay? So mentally whole is feeling like you are the best of the best at what you do, specifically in the vocation area of life, which is your career area of life, knowing that you are the best of the best at being you and no one can do it like you do it. Number 2, emotionally whole. Every single emotion is the hottest thing since sliced fucking bread. Feeling like you are the baddest bitch alive when you are angry, when you are sad, when you are happy, when you are in love, like when you are confident, like whatever your emotion is, you are the hottest thing. Even if this emotion that's coming up isn't perceived as sexy, you're going to make it fucking sexy. You're going to see how crying your eyeballs out or being too much or being dramatic is actually the fucking sexiest thing about you. And you got to get rooted to that. Number 3 is spiritually whole. Spiritual wholeness is fully trusting yourself, your intuition. And number 4, physically whole, loving your body unconditionally. If you are, fun fact, 40%, and like I said, I use my intuition to intuitively test these things. So if you are 40% or less physically whole, you will create being a match to be cheated on physically in a relationship. So, fun fact about me, I used to very much so struggle with body dysmorphia and I constantly compared myself back in the day. And not just in not just like before, like literally since I was a small child. I was comparing myself and looking at what all the other girls had and what I didn't have, or if I remember I had 2 stepsisters and for like 5 years, it was my relationship my mom was in for a little bit, and these stepsisters, like, they matured before I did, and so they had really big boobs, and I was, like, very jealous and insecure about my teeny little boobs, and I didn't love my body. I never did. I thought I was just like a string bean, and because I thought I was a string bean, then I got into fitness and health, and then I didn't love my body no matter what I looked like, even no matter how snatched I was or what my abs looked like, it didn't matter because I didn't feel like it was ever enough and I never felt physically whole. And guess who got cheated on in almost all of her relationships? This girl. It's actually wild. We can laugh about it now. 70% or less, and you will create getting emotionally cheated on. So, like your significant other, checking out other women or texting or DMing other women. And this was definitely something that I've experienced multiple times, even in the relationship that I was in before. Well, I'm not surprised because my self love and self image was actually in the trash can back in those days when I was before I met Bryson and before I started doing this work in 2022 was the relationship that back in 2022 that was like not good. There was a reason I was an energetic match for that. And a part of the healing process was becoming whole and learning how to love myself unconditionally and seeing my body and falling in love with my body even when I never had a six pack, but when I didn't have like insane core definition, right? They will, like, subconsciously feel like they can't get what they need from you, and this isn't just in relationships either, this is also in your career area of life. So, if you are not, like, fully whole and you don't feel like you're the best of the best and you don't feel like you are the hottest thing since sliced bread and you aren't trusting your own intuition and you're going that's going to be mirrored to you in your physical reality. You don't trust yourself, okay, well, other people aren't gonna trust you. You don't think you're the hottest thing since sliced bread, you think you're too much, you don't think you're enough, okay, well, other people are going to feel the same exact way. You are doubting your ability to, create what it is that you wanna create in the vocation area of life. Well, guess what happens when you do start to create that? If you do not heal that, other people aren't going to buy what you're selling because you are not rooted in the fact that you are the best of the best at what you do, and because you feel that way, other people are going to feel that subconsciously as well. If you are not fully satisfied physically with your body and you don't feel like it's sexy enough and hot enough and good enough, okay, well, your significant other or the people who you're manifesting into your life are also going to feel that subconsciously, and you're never going to be enough. Has anybody here been watching? I'm outing myself. Love is Blind this season. Okay. It's so bad, you guys. I know Amber is in Australia and she's like, no, I can't relate. But there's this girl on there and her name is Casey. And she just her self love and self image is just in the trash can. And every time I watch this show, it's so entertaining for me because I'm like, you need my help. Like you truly need my help. And this girl, Casey, she is just like this beautiful woman, but she's not rooted in her beauty. She's not rooted in the fact that she is, a hot, sexy babe. And she's not rooted in the fact that she's the best of the best at what she does, or she definitely doesn't trust herself or her intuition. And she is chasing after things that are not, aligned with what she actually is saying that she wants. And because of that, she is an energetic match for the whole situation that she's in right now. And also, like, she's self-sabotaging. So, like, if you let's say you do get what you want, which is like this 4 out of 4 soul compliment, and you're not ready for it because you haven't done the internal work on yourself, you're going to self-sabotage the situation, which is exactly what is happening in real life in the show. And as you guys learn more and more about this work and embody this work, and that's what we do inside of Devoted, then you are going to be able to fully like see the universal laws and like see this work happen and see it in other people and see it in your own life too. And it's just like really cool. It's one of my favorite things since learning this work. All right. Shift number 3, gain control over your emotions. You guys, this is a big one. This is the manifest and keep, right? So gaining control over your emotions. So yes, your emotions are the hottest thing since sliced bread. And a little picture of Mikaela when she was a baby. Because a lot of the times we are acting and responding from a place of wounded inner child. Am I right? Something happened from your past, something happened when you were a kid that made you feel a certain type of way. Anytime that same trigger gets brought up, it is adding on to the thickness of that belief and that neural pathway that you have in your ingrained in your subconscious mind. And you then react from that, and it's almost like you react from the same age as you were when it first happened because you're like, "Ah, it's happening again," and you haven't done the healing, you haven't done the, you haven't learned the self-awareness, you haven't learned the steps on how to, like, regulate your emotions, get your emotions down, which emotions play such a huge role in dating and in relationships, and, if you aren't able to get your emotions under control, then you very much so could sabotage whatever it is that you have going for you because you are acting and or reacting from a place of like fear and scarcity and like not like sure of where like like of blame, right? Of victimhood. And that's the last place that we want to be. We want to step out of our victim matrix. Okay. So, how do we gain control over our emotions? Number one is we want to become aware. So, noticing your emotional triggers in real time, catch the emotional activation early. As soon as you catch yourself seeing yourself out of perfection, also catch that. Follow that vein. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now and where do I feel it in my body? Because that's an important, where do I feel it in my body? Because that's an important thing. That's an important step. So we're only going through steps 1 through 4. We're going to go through all of the steps inside of Devoted. But the what I mean by catch the emotional activation early. So I mean, how many of us here have like gotten pissed off by somebody that we're dating, or maybe we're in a relationship right now and like our partner pissed us the fuck off. And we just kind of like shoved it under the rug. We just like kept it under the rug. We didn't say anything about it. We pretended like it was, not a big deal. Okay. That right there was like the first little like pebble, like stone throw that needed to be worked through, but you chose to sweep it under the rug. So guess what has to happen? A bigger situation, a more in your face situation because you didn't decode and work through the emotion. Therefore, you're still an energetic match, if not an even bigger energetic match for something even more dramatic to happen. And that's not what we want. So, anytime that you start to get triggered, catch that trigger in real life and start to ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? And where am I feeling it in my body? If it's anger, if it's sadness, if it's annoyed, if it's pissed, I guess that would be under angry, but you guys get what I'm saying. Like, what is that? What is that emotion? And where is it in your body? Number 2, take radical fucking responsibility. I'm the queen of radical responsibility. Okay. So we are taking full responsibility for how we are feeling and what we are creating because we are the creators of our own physical reality. Period. Point blank. End of story. God, source, universe doesn't have it out for you. They're not, it's like, you know, sending you thing after thing if you're in this life and you feel like you can't catch a break, like that's not on them, that's your own creation and your creator field, your electromagnetic field that we all have around us 24/7, that's handing out the scripts on for people telling people how to treat us, how to think about us, what to believe about us. And if we are not taking that radical responsibility and we're just blame, 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 then we're not learning any type of lesson. And what happens when we don't learn the lesson? Tell me in the chat. What happens? It keeps happening. Yes, exactly. The reflections get louder and louder. It takes a new shape. Yes, Sam, so good. I want to have a tantrum sometimes. And that's fine. You can have a tantrum sometimes. Like you can totally have a tantrum all the fucking time. If we could just like let our emotions out like we did when we were 3 years old, the world would be such a better place. Like because one, we wouldn't be walking around with all these stored emotions. There would be a whole lot less sickness because, like I said, the light body situation, storing the emotions creates illness in your body. Um, so the world would be less ill and we would all just be lighter, happier people. And that's why this work is so fucking important. We got to move through it. We've got to learn the lesson for what it is, see it for what it is. The second that we take that responsibility and stop blaming others is the second that we take back our power. This is massive, you guys. When you are blaming other people, like, oh, so and so made me feel this way, and then you're not looking at the reflection and looking at yourself, like, how do I feel like they're being and where am I being that way toward myself? Which we're going to get into reflections in a minute. But if we're not doing that step, then we're just blaming and we're not taking that radical responsibility. That's not going to do anyone any good. It's not going to do anyone any good. It's not going to do you any good. And it's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger. So we got to take that radical responsibility and we've got to take back our power because if we are giving the other person our power because we're saying that they are making us feel some type of way, good or bad, when you do X, it makes me feel Y. No, first of all, if they're making you feel any type of way that's bad, where are you being that way towards yourself and how can you shift that? And two, if you feel like when they do X, they make you feel Y, how can you start to give that feeling to yourself as well? Because if you are allowing them to give you all of the feelings or you're relying on them to give you all of the feelings that you want when it comes to dating and relationships, you are going to massively you are giving them your power because you're not reinstating the fact that you can give yourself everything that you need because you can. You are more than capable. Okay. Number 3, slow down and take a breath. So, source channeled breath work is in through the nose for 6, hold for 2, exhale for 8. And you do that 12 times before moving on to step number 4, which is decode the reflection. And we're going to get into that in a second. All right, I have to interrupt this episode to chat with you guys about my new offer, Devoted. You are done being the almost girl. Almost chosen, almost confident, almost happy. You've journaled, manifested, healed, but somehow you keep ending up in the same cycles of almost relationships, almost money, and almost self-love. This is your turning point. A season of raising your standards, choosing yourself first, and finally stepping into the identity you've been scripting about for years. Whether you're stuck in situationships, coming out of a breakup, or recovering from divorce, Devoted is the place where you stop settling and finally start living as the woman who has it all. The truth, it was never about them. The men, the money, the opportunities that never quite landed, they were all reflections of how you'd been abandoning yourself. And when you finally choose you, everything else rises to meet you. Devoted. 13 weeks devoted to embodying the hot, rich, and in love version of yourself. You'll heal your self-image, master your emotions, trust your intuition, and become the woman who is hot, rich, and fully in love with her life. You'll stop chasing love, money, or validation and start magnetizing it. Imagine waking up 90 days from now. You wake up next to a man who chooses you fully, plans the weekend, and shows up without you begging. You open your bank app and see $20,347 in savings, bills on autopay, and invoices paid with ease. You catch your reflection in jeans you once hated, actually love what you see, and think to yourself, damn, my ex really fucked up. You walk into dinner and the room shifts. People notice, ask what changed, and can feel your energy. You feel steady in love, confident in money, and free in how you spend your time. You realize the version of you who settled for crumbs is gone. Nothing beneath your standards even gets close. You make decisions with certainty because you trust yourself completely. That is the energy of a devoted woman. If you are ready to stop settling and finally live as the woman who has it all, join Devoted. The link is in the show notes below. This is your time to bloom. All right, let's get back into today's episode. All right, just letting you guys know we are right here. Release toxic independence. Let me grab some water. How is everybody feeling so far? I know we're an hour in. Amazing. Beautiful. So good. Releasing that toxic independence, you guys, stepping into that divine feminine of flow, of receiving energy. Your need to do it all yourself is not only blocking your abundance, but it's also sabotaging your dating life. It's rooted in mistrust, survival mode, and the belief that receiving equals unsafe. Let's get into some things that might be coming out of your mouth that are sabotaging your love life or your money flow. Does this sound like you in money, or I'm sorry, in love and in relationships? These statements keep them in control, but energetically unavailable. Unavailable. I don't need anybody. I don't need no man. I used to say that shit all the time. I don't need no man. I don't need anyone. I got this. I'm good. I could take care of myself. That was coming from a very wounded place. I'm fine on my own. I'd rather do it myself, anyways. Every time I rely on someone, they let me down. I don't want to owe anyone anything. Since when? Since when we were a kid, did we feel like we owed our parents anything or the doctor's office anything when they gave us a free lollipop or when our parents took care of us? No, we didn't. But somewhere along the lines, along the timeline of when we were born and kids and we didn't care and we just knew that we were just so open to receiving all the time and we didn't feel like we owed anyone anything. Somewhere along those lines, we adapted the belief that if somebody gives us something that we need to give them something in return. That's a sneaky form of hyper independence. We got to knock that shit off. I will open up once they prove that they won't leave me. I'm guilty of that one. Yep. I'm going to open up once they prove they don't leave. First of all, that's you living with a closed heart, which is not what we want. And that's also you giving your power away to your past and your ex, let's say it's in a relationship. Let's say you are dating somebody new and you're not like opening up and they feel that. They feel that from you. They feel that you're closed off. They feel that you're hard to get. They feel that you're not open to talking about X, Y, and Z. And because you don't trust them, right? And that's not going to feel good on their end. It's going to sabotage the relationship. It's going to sabotage the dating phase. And you're also like you're letting your ex literally dictate how you move through your future. Ew. Ew. Like let's not do that. Right? Being vulnerable makes me weak. If I don't depend on anyone, I can't be disappointed. I'm not high maintenance. I don't need much. Said like it's a flex, but really it's just an avoidance because you don't feel comfortable receiving. You crave intimacy, but your energy is saying, stay the fuck back. I've got it handled. All right, now getting into statements around money and business. These statements block abundance because they come from control, they come from scarcity and unworthiness around support. If I want it done right, I have to do it myself. I can't afford help right now when truthfully they're afraid to trust that support. I can't slow down because I'll lose the momentum. I'll invest when I have more money. It's you putting yourself on the back burner. You have the money, but you're not willing to invest because there's a part of you that doesn't feel worthy of investing in yourself, or There's a part of you that feels like once you let that money go, it's never going to come back. And that's a scarcity move. I don't want to depend on anyone financially. This is a big one. If this says to you, if this sounds like you, I don't want to depend on anyone financially. I don't need no man. That kind of goes into the same one of that. I hate asking for help. It makes me feel needy. No, give me all the help. I used to say all of these things. I just want you guys to know. I used to say all of these things. I can figure it out on my own, and money only comes from hard work. Or money doesn't grow on trees. Those kind of limiting beliefs. You're holding abundance hostage inside a belief system of self-protection. The universe keeps reflecting back independence instead of overflow because of this. Acknowledge that hyperindependence was protection, not personality. This is the most important step. You didn't become hyperindependent by accident. You learned to self protect because at some point you felt like the support wasn't safe, like love was conditional, and being vulnerable led to disappointment or abandonment. So your system said, I'll never rely on anyone again. And that vow kept you really safe until it started keeping you stuck. And we're here to get unstuck today. So the reframe here is I thank the part of me that learned to handle everything alone. She got me here, but she doesn't have to be in the driver's seat anymore. Everybody good with that? We need to screenshot that one. All right. Regulate the nervous system around receiving. Hyperindependence is a physiological reaction. Your body equates receiving with danger. So we're going to start small, and safe ways to let yourself be supported are letting somebody open the door for you. If somebody, like I do this all the time, you guys. If there's a man, specifically a man, if there is a man walking like either like super behind, like a little bit behind me or like next to me, and I'm walking into a building of some sort, a business of some sort, I always like slow down. I always slow down because I trust that the man's gonna open the door for me. I trust that I'm going to be supported in that way, and that's just like a silly little thing that I do. I do the same thing, when I travel and I'm on an airplane and I have my luggage with me and I need to put my luggage up in the above bin. I ain't putting that shit up in the above bin. No, I'm letting a man do that. So I allow that to happen for me. And I just know that it's going to happen for me. And because I just know that, it just always happens for me. I always get offered help when it comes to taking my luggage and putting it up or putting it down. So next time somebody asks you to help you with something, say okay. Just say okay. See what happens. I promise it's gonna be good. It's gonna be okay. Accept a compliment without deflecting it. For instance, you look really beautiful today. Oh my gosh, thanks, so do you. Let's stop doing that. Um, or oh, I love those jeans. They look so good on you. Ugh, yeah, but I could lose a couple of pounds. Let's stop doing that. These are sneaky little things that we might not be realizing that we're doing. So instead of doing these things, just accept the compliment and just say thank you. And then in your head, what happens when you begin to embody this and you raise your self image and your self love, you begin to just like have this, it's written in your creator field that you know you're a hot, sexy fucking babe. And so you get these compliments, you get these random compliments all the time. And also in your head, you're like your biggest fucking hype man. Like your biggest hype man. You're like, I'm looking good today. I love my makeup. My hair is on point. Like my outfit is cute. Like I feel really good in my body. Whatever it is, right? And even if it has nothing to do with your physical appearance, but like whatever it is, making sure that like you don't there comes a time and point where you don't feel the need to like tell people that you are the shit or that you are hot, or you don't feel the need to show people that you are the shit or that you are hot. Like it's just something that radiates off of your energy. It's just this knowing that you have internally. And because you have it internally, it's radiating from your creator field. other people are going to feel that from you, and they're going to feel that confidence. They're going to feel that assurance of self, and they're going to reflect that back to you. But if you don't believe in any of these things about yourself, and if you're constantly nitpicking at yourself, guess what's going to happen? They're going to reflect that back to you, right? Or you're going to nitpick yourself so much and be so hard on yourself that you will receive what are called pity compliments, where the universe just feels, your higher self just feels bad for you. And they're like, we're going to give you a pity compliment. And it just comes out of left field. And you know, it's a pity compliment when you're like, what? Nah. All right. Breathe through the discomfort. So when you are getting help, when people are opening the door for you and you're not, or you are getting that compliment and you feel super awkward at first when you're getting it and you like, oh, really like it's like I really want to say and like something back, but I'm not going to. Like, breathe through the discomfort of that. Don't rush to fix yourself. Just let your body learn that nothing bad happens when you receive. And the new mantra here is it is safe for me to let things be easy. It is safe for me to let things be easy. Okay. Practice receiving without earning. This is the feminine frequency shift. You don't have to work, prove, or overgive to deserve love or abundance. Let someone do something kind for you without reciprocating immediately. Let money come in easily, a client paying early, a random refund, a gift. And instead of saying, I don't deserve this, say, of course, I'm always supported. Receiving compliments without immediately giving one in return, like I just mentioned. So, when these things do happen and you are receiving, don't be surprised. Like, take out the element of surprise and replace it with the, of course, of course it's happening. Oh, of course I got a random check in the mail. Of course I found $20 on the ground. You guys, when I first started to really like work on, my money mindset and um, abundance and all that, if I still do it to this day. If I find a penny on the ground, I pick that damn penny up and I go, I'm so fucking abundant because I am. And you guys a penny is a penny. You put it in your pocket, save it for later. Maybe you're going to need it one day. You never know. Put it in your piggy bank. That shit adds up. All right. Release the identity of being hyper independent. Hyper independence becomes an identity of I'm the strong one and I don't need anyone. And you get to choose a new one, which is I'm the woman who knows her strength and still allows herself to be held. Every time you catch yourself defaulting to, I'll do it myself, pause and ask, what would letting this be easy look like right now? That single question slowly rewrites your entire relationship with life. Like, I'm literally still, like, I'm not perfect. I still work on this. And with this launch, I have an assistant, Anya. I don't know if she's still here, but she, is incredible and she can do so many things. But there's still a part of me that's like, I don't really want to give her this task, but like and then I stop myself and I'm like, no, I'm going to give her this task because I know she's capable and that's what I pay her for. And it's all good. It's going to be good. And she over delivers every time. So love that for me and her. Thank you. Next, we are on shift 5. Take radical responsibility. All right. Decoding your reflections. So I mentioned this a little bit, but this is a part of your emotional regulation. And like I said, if we're not decoding the reflections, they're just going to get bigger and bigger, louder and louder, more inconvenient. And you're going to have to learn it one way or another. And until you do, it's just going to keep on happening. So might as well bite it in the ass while you can and decode the reflections, even when they're super small or even when you're getting triggered in your relationship or by somebody else. So, when it comes to people, there are many different forms of reflections. I cannot get into all of them today, or we would be here forever. I actually have a course called Aligned AF that's like all about all the different types of reflections that you experience, but we definitely are going into reflections in the form of people today, and then even more so inside of devoted. But when it comes to reflections that you are experiencing in people, how you want to ask yourself, how do I feel like they are being? Not how are they making me feel? How do I feel like they are being? And then you're going to figure out the reflection. And I'll give you an example of this, of course. Wherever the reflection is showing up is not where the reflection is rooted from. Okay. So your reflections show up in the two highest valued areas of life. And so, e- but like it's not rooted in where it's popping up. So it's going to pop up in one of the two most, or maybe both, or maybe multiple areas of life. And you're going to want to see where it's rooted from and then like where it's popping up here. Let's say it's popping up in I just have to give my example. So, an example of this is when, let's say, I'm going to do my relationship. So, earlier last year, there was a point in time where Bryson, like, stopped taking me out on dates, like, I felt like our relationship was, like, getting boring, and I was like, "What the fuck's happening?" And instead of getting pissed and nagging at him to, like, take me out on a date or do more date things, I was like, "Okay, this is a reflection because I feel like he is not prioritizing me." Okay, cool. So if I feel like he's not prioritizing me, where am I not prioritizing myself in my own life? Okay, well, I wasn't prioritizing my own passion, hobby, right? I kept on saying that I really wanted to start doing country line dancing and go to like a country line dancing situation. And I didn't do that. And so I was like, fuck, okay. Like, and you don't need intuition to do this. Intuition is helpful, but you don't need intuition to like do this. You just need to know, okay, there's 8 areas of life. I've listed them there at the bottom. You've got physical, mental, spiritual, social, family, vocation, passion, hobby, and financial. So this specific reflection was happening for me in the passion hobby area of life where I wasn't putting myself first, prioritizing myself in that area of life. And I wasn't, going country line dancing. So I kid you not, I go country line dancing and I take myself out to a dinner and I come home and the next day Bryson like wants to spend time with me and wants to take me out on a date and we go out on a date and then I wake up the next morning and I have like a just because present and it's my these like UGG slippers that I've been wanting for like forever, right? So it's and I laugh, like you just laugh when things like that happen and it's so some things are just so easy to shift, but the reason like things shift, sometimes things take longer to shift, sometimes things can shift really fast. But the moment that you start to like look inwards and see how you can shift your energy, you're going to also have the other person shift and you don't even have to say anything. So like if you're tired of nagging your husband or your husband or fiance or boyfriend or anyone or your child or anyone like that's a reflection of what's going on in here and where you're, maybe not showing up for yourself in one or more areas of life and how you can shift that. So that's why this is so important because you are literally able to manipulate your physical reality when you start to take radical responsibility and do the inner work and begin to shift yourself and put yourself first and prioritize yourself so that other people can do the same. So, after you figure out what area of life your reflection is rooted from, ask yourself, how am I being this way toward myself? And then in what area of life am I being this way toward myself? And then I list the 8 areas. And understand that, like, whenever you get triggered, I used to like hate being triggered. And now I get so excited when I'm triggered because I'm like, ooh, like, what's this trying to show me today? Like, what am I out? Where am I out of alignment? In what area of life am I out of alignment? And how is this going to help me? Because triggers are it's a reflection and it's an opportunity for you to look inward and it's an opportunity for you to grow and become better and to heal on a deeper level and because what reflections are gifts from our higher self that give us that show us that we are out of alignment with what we say that we are wanting. So if we are saying that we want a masculine man who like prioritizes us and makes us feel special and makes us feel makes us feel special and unique and prioritized, then like are we giving that to ourselves? Because you can't be an energetic match for that unless you are giving all of those things to yourself. So when you are experiencing reflections in dating and in relationships, instead of just getting fucking pissed at the person, which I feel like is so common, and then like dipping out and just being like, well, you're not doing X, Y, and Z. So like, peace out. Like, you know, like when you're doing that, you're not seeing the lesson there, and you're gonna have to repeat it over and over again. So if you're in the dating phase and you're consistently attracting the same guy and different guys, the reason that is because you are not seeing the reflection for what it is. And there's something internal of you that needs to be shifted. And this fucking sucks to learn about. I know. I get it. I was pissed when I learned about it too, because I was like, me? The problem? No. Could never be me. I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. And the moment that I was able to realize that and to take that radical responsibility and step the fuck out of my mindset and stop blaming everyone for my fucking problems is the moment that everything started to shift. So that's why it's so important to like know the universal law of reflections and to take that radical responsibility. The reason that you're attracting emotionally unavailable men is because you are not seeing how you're not emotionally whole. Like, you're not seeing how your emotions are the hottest fucking thing since sliced bread. And if you cannot get rooted and connected to that, then you're going to manifest situations in your life where like that aren't the vibe. So that's one other reason why it's so important to like be whole on your own so that you can manifest a 4 to 4 soul complement, and also you don't feel like you, need anything external of you to feel a certain way, period, end of story. So, a reminder of the framework to becoming a devoted woman, which was step 1 today, the devotion code, 5 shifts to manifest and keep your dream man. Step 2, phase 1, devotion to self, devotion to desire, and devotion to love. So, what my life looked like before this work, all the good ones are taken, consistently picking the wrong guys and felt like I had bad luck in love. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Often crossed my mind, feeling like my expectations of a relationship were just too much and I should just settle for less. That was literally a thing that I thought in my brain. I am never enough. Never felt like I was enough, not pretty enough, not successful enough, not healed enough, just not enough. If I want more, I have to do more. Never having enough money at the end of the month, and in order to receive more, I needed to hustle harder. Maybe one day it'll be my turn. Trapped in the spiritual matrix of trust divine timing, that one day eventually the right man will show up. Nah, bitch, like we honed in our intuition, we used our manifestation skills and abilities, and we manifested and sped the timeline up. Was I supposed to meet Bryson? Absolutely. Was I supposed to meet him when I did? No. How did I speed that up? I'll share that inside of Devoted. I will watch your dog. Felt like I had to chase, overgive, or prove my worth to get love. Drop a heart emoji in the chat if you can relate. I didn't want to skip that. If you've ever said or felt any of these things. Yes, lots of heart emojis. Love to see it. I'm not the only one. I knew I wouldn't be. All right. You desire to stop tearing yourself apart and walk past every mirror thinking, damn, I am one hot, sexy babe. And when you heal your self image, you glow from the inside out and you smooth your fine lines. This here, I think this photo up at the top was taken in December of 2023, and the photo here was taken in like February or March of 2020, or I'm sorry, not 2023, 2024. And then February, March of 2025 was this second photo taken. You can see the like crazy difference in my skin and in the fine lines right here on my face. But that is a side effect of skyrocketing your self image. Energetic, everything has an energetic root cause, including aging. You desire to wake up next to a man who chooses you fully, plans the weekend, and shows up without you begging. This, I don't know about you, but like a man showing up for me when I'm not well is like so important. And Bryson always delivers, and it just means so, so much to me. And I know that that's a creation of my own creator field. And yeah, I know how special it is. And I've been in many relationships where that wasn't the case. I remember there was a relationship that I was in for a long time, and it was New Year's Eve, and I was sick, and he wanted to go out and party with his friends. So he like didn't even ever like come over and ask me if I need anything, nothing. He was just like, I'm gonna go do this. Bye. What? I'm sorry. What? I wasn't like sick, or I obviously wouldn't have him come over, but I was like just not feeling well. This was just, I mean, Bryson makes plans for us all the time, but Rincon was like, he booked that whole weekend that we just spent at the Rincon at the beach for my birthday. He booked that one, planned that whole thing, and it was like so special. You desire to walk into dinner and the room shifts. People notice, ask what's changed, and can feel your energy. So these are just some screenshots of what people have reached out to me and told me, and then also what my clients have told me who have done this work. So one of them's like, you know what's wild? I've noticed a huge change in your voice since you started healing. Like back in the day, you were extremely low and raspy, and now you're more clearly spoken and louder. And you even just sound different, but in a good way, like more feminine and soft and well spoken, if that even makes sense. And that did make sense to me. I've got a client that texted me and was like, three people told me that I look like I'm in my mid 20s today. I've got another one to me from a follower on Instagram that said, I was just thinking we are the same age and this girl looks younger and so healthy. She's talking about how I look so much younger than her, even though we're the same age. Another testimonial from a friend today. I went out to breakfast with some friends, got told that I have a great figure, small waist, big butt, and boobs, and that I have nice skin. The self image work is working. And then another one that said, I just looked in the mirror and liked what I saw, which is huge wins. You desire to make decisions with certainty because you completely trust yourself. You desire to realize the version of you who is settling for crumbs is gone. Nothing beneath your standards even comes close. You feel steady in love, confident in money, and free in how you spend your time. You desire to catch your reflection in jeans you once hated, actually love what you see, and think to yourself, damn, my ex really fucked up. You are ready for a system that has proven results, a community of badass women who are on the same mission as you, a space that gives you more accountability, support, and personalization. So, this is from Sierra Queen, and she took Glowed Up like my very first round, which was like 2 years ago now. And like I said, Glowed Up is Devoted's little sister. So, I wanted to share this testimony because I thought it was so good.
Hi, my name is Sierra, and I just finished the Glowed Up course with Mikaela. I have learned so much about myself. I have already seen shifts in myself. Doing this work is not easy, but she makes it so fun and relatable and just something you can easily understand. It's been really incredible. If you are on the fence about this, honestly, like it has just been so amazing. I already feel a little more love for myself. I am going to continue doing all the work, all the homework that she had given us. This was truly something I really, really needed. And I am so grateful for Mikaela that she had this course and that I came across it and I was able to do it. So thank you, Mikaela. It was incredible, and I'm really gonna miss our weekly calls.
Introducing Devoted, 13 weeks to embodying the hot, rich, and in love version of yourself. You guys have been working on this for a really long time, for months. And I knew what I wanted to create, and I just didn't know how to put it into words, didn't know how to frame it, but thankfully I was able to hire a incredible website designer who basically made it come to life. Like, obviously just like the sales page is what I'm talking about, but like all of the I got really clear on like all of the messaging and what I was trying to help women embody. And everything just turned out so beautifully. And I cannot freaking wait to share this with you guys. And for those of you who join to walk through this journey of becoming or embodying the hot, rich, and in love version of yourself. So this is devoted. This is just a little screenshot of like your Kajabi portal down there in the bottom left-hand side. So your mind might already be wandering off with thoughts like, what if I'm not spiritual? What if I'm already in a relationship? What if I don't have the time or money right now? You don't have to be spiritual. You just have to be self-aware enough to know that what you've been doing is not working anymore. You don't have to be single. This work deepens every single relationship that you are already in. You don't have to spend hours a day. You just need the willingness to show up for yourself in a new way. So, what is included inside of Devoted? We've got 13 live weekly calls, a Q&A in each phase. So 3 Q&As where you have the opportunity to ask me any intuitive questions, help you decode any reflections that you're experiencing or you've experienced in the past that maybe you want to look into. There will be call replays. So if you can't make it live, everything is recorded. It's placed in your portal. You will have lifetime access to this. And of course, I've created a community group so you can connect with women walking this journey with you, share wins, breakthroughs, and receive support in real time. There's also going to be those guided meditations that I chatted with you guys about. So you'll experience deep energetic resets to heal trauma, rebuild self worth, and embody your most devoted self. Journal prompts, which access powerful self reflection exercises to rewrite limiting beliefs or anchor lasting transformation. Devoted practices, so learn the exact rituals, routines, and daily devotion habits that align you with your highest frequency. Subconscious reprogramming, receive intuitive brain reprogramming statements to recode your field for love, abundance, and magnetism. The devotion method is 3 phases in 1 transformation. Devoted is designed as a journey. So each phase builds on the last, and by the end, you won't just feel inspired. You will become the woman who is hot, rich, and fully devoted to herself. Phase 1 is devotion to self. So finally stop picking yourself apart, start building the kind of love and self-image that radiates confidence, magnetism, and safety in your own skin. This phase reconnects you to your power, your intuition, and self-trust so you finally feel like the prize again. You will focus on self-love and image healing, rebuild your inner world so your reflection mirrors confidence, beauty, and self-worth. It girl energy, ignite your radiant magnetic essence, and become the woman everyone feels drawn to. There's going to be lots of energy recoveries and meditation. So cut the cords, reclaim your power, and experience and feel safe being seen in your authentic self. And higher self trust, strengthen your intuition, and make decisions with unwavering self certainty. Phase 2 is devotion to desire. So, no more almost. In this phase, you'll clear the energetic blocks, rewrite your subconscious, and step into a frequency where your desires are non-negotiable. You'll become the woman who manifests what she wants, not by chasing, but by being. You'll focus on manifestation mastery, program your creator field to magnetize love, wealth, and opportunities with ease. Subconscious reprogramming, release the hidden patterns that once kept you small or second guessing. Energetic expansion, learn how to hold higher frequencies of abundance, love, and emotional safety. Aligned action, anchor devotion through daily rituals that reinforce your new energetic identity. And phase 3 is devotion to love. Here is where you become the embodiment of lasting reciprocal love. You'll attract the kind of relationship that feels secure, passionate, and deeply devoted because it's built on your healed, whole energy. No more confusion, no more crumbs or inconsistency, only devotion. You will focus on aligned attraction, calling in emotionally available partners who meet your energy and choose you fully. Energetic communication, master masculine and feminine dynamics so connection feels effortless and safe. Emotional mastery, regulate your nervous system so love feels calm, steady, and deeply fulfilling. Devoted partnership, learn to sustain passion and polarity while keeping your independence intact. You don't manifest what you want, you manifest what you are willing to embody. If you love this episode, make sure you follow Intuitive Flow so you don't miss the next conversation. And if you're loving the show, leave a 5-star rating and review. It helps more women find this podcast and finally break the cycles they've been feeling stuck in. You can find me on Instagram or TikTok at Mikaela_. And if you're ready to go deeper into rebuilding your self-trust, raising your standards, and cleaning up your energetic hygiene, check the show notes for ways to work with me below. And remember, the life you want is not out of reach. You just need to become the woman who can hold it. Until next time, keep flowing.